So, Ida, we are now in Quiberon and being in quarantine for the coronavirus, and I think it's a very nice place to escape to. And but Ida, you had some questions for me.
Yes, Miki. Actually, I know you are preparing the program for sailing for next season. Could you tell us about this program, please?
Yeah, so the program starts in May, 10th of May, with the Transat, which is the old All-Star race. It goes from this time, it will start in Brest in France, and destination is Charleston in the US, and it's a solo race across the northern Atlantic.
But it doesn't sound very convenient to cross Atlantic Ocean in May from Brest to America. It's not probably the most safe way.
I guess you're kind of right. It's not chosen for convenience. It's going to be quite rough, likely, and also the prevailing weather systems goes the opposite way. So it will be kind of upwind oriented race. Of course, we're trying to find the route which gives us the fastest time to get, or the shortest time to get over to the other side, but for sure it's going to be very inconvenient, a lot of upwind, and perhaps going a long way to avoid also the heavy low pressures coming in from the northern part of the planet. So
yeah, this sounds extreme, let's say. And do you think you really need to do that?
Yeah, well, I guess it's the challenge that is the thing that makes me want to do this. I've done the other way 3 times already. So going from west to east is far more. It's still, I mean, it's the northern Atlantic. It's quite rough and it's cold and it's rough, but it's now I never done it this way. To go east to west. So I done it the other way. I done it solo actually. I done it double-handed with you. We set the world record, Bermuda to Plymouth, and also done the Quebec Saint-Malo before. And all of these races are quite extreme, and it's even more extreme to go the other way. So it's I just like the idea of doing something beyond the normal, just to show myself the worthiness to Mother Nature.
But you have done already the way east to west in Route du Rhum race.
Yeah, that's true. But Route du Rhum is this is the same distance actually, so they are about the same 3,400 miles. The Route du Rhum was kind of sporty in the beginning. We had like a week of upwind, getting out of the English Channel, crossing the Bay of Biscay, and it was through named winter storms in November, a bit more than a year ago. But the good thing with the Route du Rhum is, first of all, you go for the rum. So we're all pirates. We like the rum, but you just head down to the Azores and you turn around and then you go west, and then you go with the trade winds. So that makes it actually quite convenient. About halfway, you're getting a nice ride to the other side, and this time this is not an option.
What can you say about weather conditions expected in May in North Atlantic?
Yeah, well, I think it's for sure we're getting the light coming back, so that makes it more nice again. It could be, I think the weather windows are opening, so it becomes a bit better compared to the winter times.
Yeah.
And likely we will have, I mean, for sure there's the same lows coming in. I think especially people living in the UK and northern France, they know exactly the weather, what it's like. Could be very rainy, a lot of cold fronts passing and so on. So I'm a bit excited to see what it's going to be like.
Is there any chance to have this road downwind actually?
There are possibilities, and of course, with the low pressure systems, what you can do is to go very far north, then you go on top of them. So if you go north of a low, you will go downwind sailing, and that is also a bit dangerous, because if you go too far north, you have ice actually coming down from the currents of Labrador. So and the closest route goes quite close to Newfoundland. So for sure there might be some limitations in how far north you're allowed to go, and there will be a lot of challenges. So if you can't go north of a low to swing around the center,
yes.
Then you have to meet the fronts, and it will be a very, very interesting challenge from a navigation point of view to choose the way through the weather systems.
Sounds very interesting. And when you arrive to the America coast, what is next in your program?
Yeah, so the next program is to race the Atlantic Cap. It's a very, very nice race. It starts in sunny, warm Charleston in South Carolina in the US, and then it takes the route over the Gulf Stream. And there's a pit stop in New York for a few days, and there will be some inshore races in New York with pro-am racing with profs and professionals and also guests. And after that, the race continues from New York and up to Portland, where there's going to be even more inshore races, but then it's hardcore racing with in the bay outside of Portland, and that's also very, very fun, tight racing around the cans.
Okay, so it's a race with 2 legs, if I understood correct, and total distance is 1,000 miles.
Yes, so.
And some short racing in pit stop places.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know the Gulf Stream is a very strong and very stable current, and you never find something like that here on European waters. Let's say our east part of Atlantic. Here currents are changing all the time, and Gulf Stream promise you to get very interesting strategical race.
Yeah, that's true. It's just outside of Charleston. It's about roughly 100 miles east of Charleston. So the strategy is to get out, hook on to the current as early as possible. It's like stepping onto the train. It will give you like 5 to 6 knots of current going north. And you will see it in different ways. You can see it from the temperature. So when the temperature in the water increases, that's when you're at the peak. And when you see the temperature goes down again, then you're on the other side.
This sounds very interesting, because usually we observe more visible things, but to measure the temperature, to see how the temperature is changing. This is because sounds very interesting in strategy and in planning and navigation.
Yeah, so that's kind of, the Gulf Stream takes the water from the Mexican Gulf. That's where the water comes up from the Caribbean Sea. So of course that's why it's warm. But and this used to be the traditional way how to find out where is the maximum current. So of course today we have more advanced ways to do it. We can compare with our GPS both the course over ground, speed over ground, and we compare it with the magnetic compass and also with the speed log through the water, and then we can calculate. So the system on board the boat calculates the current.
Okay.
So basically what you can do, you're in the current and you will observe on your instrument the current, and then you just head up 10 degrees and then you see the current starts falling down, then you bear away 10 degrees and you just go up and down and just trying to stay at the maximum all the time. But the more challenging thing from a navigational point of view is to find where to get off.
Yes.
So About the height, the latitudes of New York, the Gulf Stream turns right, so it turns more to Europe. Yeah,
Yes.
more easterly. Yeah,
Yes.
left and right. So, and then it's a question: how far do you go? Because the further you go, you're also getting a bit out from New York. So it's a question of the angles of the wind, the true wind direction, geographics wise, and it will be well. I've done it before a few times, so it's always a nice challenge. Sometimes you think you're the last in the race, and then someone else did a very stupid mistake, and then all by a sudden you're among the first. So it's important to analyze and see what others are doing, and at the same time as.
And you will have opportunity to see our boats.
Well, we probably are too far away to see them on the AIS, but there's a tracking system, and with the satellite communication we can see from that one. So we're allowed to do that, and that makes it very interesting to see how they are choosing their way. But it's yeah, but that's the first leg, and then the second leg it's also it's like a sprint. It's like 350 miles. I mean, the first leg is normally we've done it like in 2 days. 650 miles in 2 days.
Wow.
That's kind of fast. It's been really amazing. Previous years we're seeing boat speeds of like 15-20 knots going hard downwind with the kite up, and then the speed over ground is like 25-26, and it's like wow, that's so amazing to see that happening. And but the second leg is up to Portland. It's could be very misty, a lot of fog, and especially there's a lot of whales. So we have to look up for them, and also a lot of fishermen going around the Cape Cod. So that makes it a bit partly dangerous. But it's a very nice sprint. But I think last time in 2018 we had 35 knots of wind, upwind, with the whole Atlantic pushing the waves into us. So it was a really hard banging, and a lot of boats was actually damaged, so they had to retire. We were lucky not having to retire, but we were seriously having big troubles with broken things. But 4 years ago we had a very, very nice ride. It was just so fast, and good wind, good angles, and it's amazing. It's amazing. You should do it.
Probably once.
Yeah, you will.
So this second part of your program after the Atlantic crossing in the wrong way, let's say, this looks also very, very special compared to races, most known races. And what is next? I know it's also something very, very tough.
Yeah, of course. We have to get back to Europe with a boat and with ourselves, and so the return race will be the Quebec Saint-Malo Race. So it's called the Transat Quebec Saint-Malo. And so we have to get from Portland to Quebec. So we go into the Bay of St. Lawrence, and then there's the St. Lawrence River, and we're getting into Quebec. And that's in July we start the next race. And that's like 3,000 miles. And and it's 600 miles to get from Quebec out to the open ocean. So it's a long kind of inshore race with a lot of tidal currents. So the tide goes, I remember from last time we had tides of 5 knots against us, and then 5 knots with us, and you have to go out on very shallow areas to avoid the current, but then you have to make sure that you can hurry to get out before the water gets too shallow, so you get stuck. And I remember last time we were sailing with like half a meter under the keel and just running to get out of the shallow waters, but we managed all the time. But it was very, very exciting. So,
as I understood, you already have done this race.
Yes, so 2016 we did it, and that's also when we. But it's a very challenging race. It's you have first of all there's an ice exclusion zone,
It's the same as we use for all races going around the world in Southern Ocean.
Yeah, it's kind of the same, and so depending on, I mean, they have ice forecasts, so they know they spot on satellites. They say, okay, there's so many of these growlers or icebergs or smaller pieces, but it comes down on the eastern side of Newfoundland through the current of Labrador. And so depending on how many ice growlers they spot, they will adapt the ice exclusion zone so that we're not running into ice. So of course that's very nice of them to make the same rules for everyone, but it makes it longer.
Sorry, this situation with ice will be forecasted and will be known before the start, so they will provide you all information before, or do they make any changing in the restriction zone after?
No, they can make changes during the race, but of course it needs to be changed before the first boat goes into the area or passes or turns around in Newfoundland. But it's also it's a kind of it's very busy, this route. It's all the cargo traffic from Europe to America and back are in this area. So it's a lot of ships, and that also increases the risk of running into containers and stuff. And I think last time there was one of the Class 40s, they ran into something metallic and made a total stop of the boat. So we're a bit, of course, afraid of that. Ourselves, we hit a whale. It was a more soft bang, but it was a very strong bang, but not the complete stop. And it was just about to get dark, and we were doing like 15 knots, and it was a big bang. And but we managed without any damages to the keel, and so it's it can be rough. We set our record for the boat, a 24-hour record of 329 miles last time, and but it was crazy. So one night there was this Mod 70, I think the Oman sailing, I think they're called. They capsized 450 miles outside of Newfoundland, and it was a bit scary. You're getting the emails of that, and well, you know the conditions. It's like it's very, very. You know, sailing at night and in this darkness with these strong winds and cold water really flushing over the boat, and then you're just sitting in this. It's kind of amazing, but you're in your dry suit, and it's tough. And then you hear other boats capsizing, and so it's gonna be a challenging route to get over to the other side.
It's actually sounds not only challenging, not only sporty, but very extreme and kind of survival.
Yeah, it can be a bit of survival too, but of course because of all the ships going, so I mean this Oman sailing, they were picked up from the water within I think just a few hours. They redirected another ship to go and pick them up, so they were saved very quickly. And but it's also a bit funny because the ships they see that we are a sailing boat, and they're not used to boat sailing so fast. So last time it was very funny. It was a Finnish navigator, or he was on the radio, and he was calling us up from the ship and said, "Okay, I see you," with his Finnish accent. So I could hear he was Finnish, so it was very funny. So I see you're a Swedish boat. I say, yeah, okay. Are you a sailing boat? I say, yeah, I don't believe you. We have been in company now for 2 days. So I think it was quite funny, and yeah, it becomes your friends. You see them on the AIS, you see the other ships, and you go along with them, and it's a very nice, cool race.
Is it also solo or a double-handed race?
Now that race is fully crewed.
Okay.
And on Class 40, fully crewed means minimum 3 people. So then it's
yes, very full crew. Very full crew.
so it's a lot of people. It's just so many people. You just don't know where can I go sleeping. So many people. But I think last time we did it with 5 people, and there is. I think I would be happy to go with 4. It would be nice, and even 5 is very nice. Then it's very nice for me as skipper to be able to do good navigation, to really put focus on that. That's very important. And then have 2 teams with one helming, one taking trim, and then changing the teams. And then I jump in helming for a few hours here and there. So we will see exactly how we set it up. But it's 5 people it's very fine on the boat, especially when it's windy and so on. The weight is not so you're happy with having weight on the boat, so you just have to put it on the right place.
Okay. And with this race, Quebec Saint-Malo, you arrive again to Europe, to our site, and is it the end of your program?
No, there is also one more very, very nice race, the Normandy Channel Race in September. So it's 1,000 mile, double-handed, and it starts in France and it goes through the channel up to the Fastnet Rock outside Ireland and then back. And I never done it before actually. So each year they say, "Oh, Mikael, now you have to come and do the race." And say, "Yeah, well, I thought of always had something other in the pipe." So this year this is going to happen, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Nice.
It's going to be a really, really cool thing.
And this race, as I know, is very popular in class 40, and it's a lot of boats and a lot of sailors who are doing it each year.
Yeah, so it's just, I don't know why I haven't done it so far. So it's a bit embarrassing. All the Frenchies, they say, "Oh, Mikael, you're not a real sailor if you haven't done the Normandy Channel Race." And say, okay. I've done something else instead.
Yes, but you are familiar with waters because this is a same Celtic Sea where Fastnet race is
of course,
taking place, and it's La Manche, English Channel, and local French waters, which are already never say well known, but at least
I guess they never get they're never getting known to anyone actually, depending on angles of wind and waves and currents and so on. But it's very nice. It goes through the Solent, so of course my local knowledge there should be adding something extra. Of course there are a lot of sailors having more knowledge than me, but I sailed a lot in the HP 30 class doing navigation, and then it's along the coast of UK and getting up to over the Irish Sea. So I like it. It's a very nice waters. A bit rough. You need to dress properly. But once you do that, then as we say in Sweden, there's no bad weather. It's just bad clothing. So once you fix the clothing, then all weather is good.
And finally, this is the end of the program.
Yeah, that's the end of the program, and then of course we will see what happens by the end of the year if we do another Atlantic crossing or going to the Caribbean or something. But that's not part of the plan so far, and we will see what is up.
Okay, but now it's very nice to hear about your plans, but now we are in a situation with coronavirus and everything is moving here in France. Race organizers have to cancel some races, and the whole program is moving for each class. What can you say about that? And what can be?
Yeah, that's true. It's a lot of uncertainties. They have cancelled many races in the mini circuit. They have cancelled in Figaro's and many of the other big French solo classes and single or shorthand classes. Of course, this is a very serious situation. The authorities they put the rules, and we do our best to contribute to not to contribute to the spread of the virus and so on. So of course we have to obey to this. There is big uncertainties, of course, due to this. What's going to happen with the Transat? What's going to happen because there are limitations on Europeans. Can they go into US or not? And what happens? So right now there's no decisions made, and this is the program. There might be, I mean, for sure we are prepared for that things will change. So of course I have a plan B and I have a plan C, and then there's the plan of no plans.
Okay.
So I'm so excited to get out racing again. So I've been racing a lot on others' boats last year, and especially supporting you as much as I can for your mini Transat. But now I'm really excited to get my Talanta flying again, and she needs my love and my care, and she wants to go dancing on the waves again. So
but is the boat ready? Because last year you had some problems, you were dismasted, and also engine problems which did not let you to participate in Fastnet.
Yeah, that's true. So after the Rotterdam I dismasted. Actually it was just on a quickie going from Antigua to Guadeloupe just to fly home. But I got a new mast, and I spent 2 months in Caen last year. So putting new mast on, and also doing a lot of refit, because when the mast fell there was damages to the deck. So I had to repair a bit, and new painting of deck and so on. That is done, and we were ready to start the Fastnet race.
Okay.
But then the engine left life on the planet, as we say. So it became very, very difficult to start it, becoming worse and worse, and finally on the starting day of the Fastnet we couldn't get it started actually. So we were not allowed to start, and since then I've been struggling to also get a new engine. But now I've been very lucky. I found a very good partner for this, so it's Bus Telecom. They're really looking forward to see the race continue and going again, and I'm happy. I've ordered a new engine, so I'm just waiting for it to be delivered, and it will come to Cowes. So the boat is in Cowes, and it will come there in maybe 1 week time or something, if not the coronavirus causes new trouble. But after that, then I mean, that's a quickie to change the engine. That's very simple, and it's very clear that what is the problem with the engine. So then the boat is ready to rock again.
Sounds very cool. You're, let's say, prepared for any situation, and the boat is ready. I'm very happy to hear that, and I will be very happy to see Talanta racing hard again. And I wish you a lot of luck, and a lot of nice partners and nice competitors around you, and to spend this time cool and rock.
Yeah. Yeah, we're ready to rock again, and I had a tough year getting things in order, but also got good opportunities to support you for your mini Transat adventure. So now it's time to rock, and yeah, I'm very, very excited, extremely excited. So happy things are moving on again, and
we really hope to hear new, very cool stories from you, because it looks like the adventures you are going to have are extremely special. And of course, we would like to know how it's going on, and what is your experience, and to share with us. And I